this principle that love is our true guidance system, well, we need to talk about the pattern. See, if it's true that we get sidetracked when we stop following love, that's when we fall into doubt. That's when we stop trusting our path. That's when we start doubting ourselves. That's when you start doubting yourself. We understand that our principle is that love is the only true guidance system because it is operating off and on behalf of nature. And by nature, I mean God, I mean reality. You understand? It's just these are just words, but words that are meant to point us to the eternal, to the supreme. So love is that only true guidance system because it alone reflects foundational reality completely. That's the principle of the day. Okay. Love is the sum total of nature, right? The full circle. Behold the soul. You understand? Okay. So what's the pattern then? Like, what's the problem? What's the issue? If it's so easy, how come everybody just ain't just following the love thing, right? Well, the reason is because here's the pattern. The reason that human beings currently, the current stage of evolution, the current stage of human development, or at least in this point in history, the reason that human beings are not relying on love is because, and here's the pattern, human beings are relying on the intellect. What's the issue with the intellect? What's so wrong with thought? Nothing. Nothing. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong with intellects any more than there's anything wrong with hands and feet. But you're going to have a hard time moving mountains with just those. You dig what I'm saying? The issue is that people who operate for outcome, by outcome I mean like results. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. By outcome I mean results. You can't see that for real. Let me just. By outcome I mean results. People who operate for outcomes. You've heard of someone being outcome driven or results driven, a results driven person. Like almost like every job interview is like, we need a results driven person. You know what I'm saying? Like people who are driven by outcome are actually being led by the intellect. People who just want the outcome, just want to get something, even if it seems like a helpful thing. I just want to go help somebody. Not I'm out here to do what I love and let love help. No, no, no. I'm out here because I want to get a check and I want to help somebody and I want all of these. It's outcome. That's outcome thinking. Someone who is looking for an outcome is being driven by the intellect. What's the issue with the intellect? Well, remember, behold that soul. The only issue with the intellect is that it takes natural reality and starts dividing it up into portions and pieces. And then it starts looking for relationships between portions and pieces. And the whole problem is that the intellect can only respond. Can we see this? Okay, good. The intellect can only respond to known variables. The intellect cannot respond to unknown variables. The intellect can only respond to observable data. The intellect cannot adjust for the unknown. Therefore, anybody who is searching for an outcome, who has partitioned, bifurcated, who has split reality from being totality to being all of these discrete segments will miss the entire point. They will miss the entire point of what reality actually is. And therefore, they must necessarily operate from illusion. What is an illusion? It's non-reality, which means that the moment you start cutting up reality into separate and discrete pieces and then treating the separate pieces as if they're real, you are now lost in illusion. By definition. Why? Because you've lost touch with the basis of reality itself. You've cut reality into all of these discrete pieces where one of them is the outcome that you want and the other one is the outcome that you don't want. You see how that works? Where one of these pieces is the outcome that you want, so you start executing for it, and the other piece is the outcome that you don't want. The problem is that in a universe like the one that we live in a cosmos that's interconnected like the one that we live in, the outcome that you don't want may become the very opportunity for the outcome that you do want. But the intellect cannot make those connections. Why? Because they're unknown. They're unknown connections. They're unknown variables. So this is the pattern. People who are operating from outcome are operating from intellect. The problem with operating from intellect is that it necessarily cuts reality into pieces and then treats the pieces as if they're real. The problem with that is that the moment we cut reality into pieces and then start treating pieces as if they're real, we've missed the fact that we're no longer operating within the totality of reality. We're now operating in illusion. That's the pattern. Reliance on the intellect is a reliance on illusion. Someone put in the chat that you understand. Relying on the intellect is relying on illusion because the very nature of intellect is to cut reality into discrete portions and pieces and then treat those pieces as if they somehow can help you control the whole. That's the pattern. It's only a matter of time before somebody who is outcome driven loses their way. It's only a matter of time because they're fundamentally operating in illusion. Now, there's nothing wrong with using the intellect within context and saying, okay, yes, we're going to cut this piece into discrete portions because we need to, solve a certain problem or whatever the case is. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you lose the perspective of the totality of reality and the fact that the unpredictable sows the seeds for the predictable, that unpredictable and predictable, they rely on one another. They're interchangeable. They support one another. When we begin to miss this dynamism that is representative of the totality of reality, well, now you live in an illusion. And it hurts to be living in illusion.